Therefore, data needs validation checks. Data validation software do the validation checks on the acquired data. By using that validation software only, we can check the validation on the access to data. Validation software applies the logic, rules, and semantics annotations. By using this validation software, it applies the logic rules and syntactical rules annotations. The application or service depends on valid data. Whatever the application or service depends on only the valid data. Then only the analytics, prediction, prescription, diagnosis, and decisions can be acceptable. By using these services, we can analyze, predict, prescribe, diagnose, and take the decision of the access acquired data. Acquired data can be acceptable based on the validations. Next, our topic is data categorization for storage. If you want to store the data, on what categorization we are storing the data. So services, business processes, and business intelligence use data. So we are using the three kinds of data. Those are the service data, business process data, and business intelligence data. We have to use these kinds of data. Valid, useful, and relevant data can be categorized into three categories for storage. So the valid data can be, or useful and relevant data can be categorized into three categories for the storage. That is data alone, data as well as the result of processing. Only the result of data analytics are stored. First one is data alone, second one is data as well as result of processing. Third one is only the result of data analytics are stored. Following are the three cases for storage. Here we are using the three cases. By using these cases, we can store the data. Data which need to be repeatedly processed, referenced, or audited in future, and therefore data alone need to be stored. So if you are using the repeated data for processing, for referring, or for editing in futures, so if you want to calculate it in future also, and therefore data alone needs to be stored. These kinds of data alone should be stored. Data which needs processing only once and the results are used at a later time using the analytics, and both the data and result of processing and analytics are stored. So second point suggests data which needs processing only once. We want to process only once and the result are used at a later time using the analytics, and both the data and results of processing and analytics are stored. So these kinds of data should be stored. Advantages of this case are quick visualization and report generation without reprocessing. So the best example is we are recharging our mobiles at once, and whenever we are processing our recharge, it will show how much of a process we have done. That is, if you are sending the SMS per a day, it will generate the immediate reports. If you are speaking with someone, it reports immediately how much of time you have spent. So these kinds of data is very much important. Advantages of these cases are quick visualization. So it clearly gives the visualization and reports generation without reprocessing. Without reprocessing, it is displaying that result. Also, the data is available for reference or auditing in future. These data is available for our reference and auditing in future also. So the best is the JioSIMs. If you are using the MyJio app, you are identifying your SMS, to whom you have sent, and later also it is showing to whom you have sent and how much of a data you have called. Every information is audited in future also, it is stored. And third point is online real-time or streaming data need to be processed. So you're suggesting as online real-time or streaming data need to be processed, and the result of processing and analysis needed storage. So whatever the online real-time or streaming data need to be processed, and the result of processing and analysis need storage. So that results of processing analysis also need to be storage. So here it is suggesting as online real-time. Best example we can suggest some of machines. For example, if you go for a petrol bunk, if you ask for the amount of data, amount of fuel, it will be stored. Later onwards we can get. Suppose if you are using that machines, bus ticketing machines, it will store and we will get that online as well as real time data. So by using these kinds of data, we can process, and the result of a processing and analysis needed storage. So compulsory these kinds of data analysis and processing should be need storage.